It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, Punjab's dramatic win over Kolkata at the Indian Premier League has sparked a massive meme fest. Punjab captain Shreyas Iyer exacts his revenge. Yuzvendra Chahal makes a stunning comeback from both personal and professional setbacks. And the IPL is roaring again. Pakistan reporter is silenced by a PSL player, England's Sam Billings, when asked which was a bigger and better league, PSL or the IPL. What did Billings say, and is this even a valid question? And tensions in Red Bull are on the rise. Could this season witness a fallout between Max Verstappen and his team? More details of that on the show, but first a look at the headlines on Sports 360. We'll start with football. Paris Saint-Germain registered a narrow win over Aston Villa in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals, despite Villa winning the second leg 3-2. PSG qualified for the semi-finals with a 5-4 aggregate score. The decisive goal came from PSG's Nuno Mendes. In another match, Barcelona banked upon their first leg lead over Dortmund to qualify for the semi-finals. Dortmund put up a brave fight despite being 4-0 behind after the first leg. Serhou Guirassy scored a hat-trick, but that wasn't enough. Barcelona qualified on a 5-3 aggregate. News from the Olympics. 2028 hosts Los Angeles announced an array of venues for the Summer Games. The competition will be sprawled across and around the greater Los Angeles region. Cricket will be played for the first time since 1900 and will take place at a temporarily built stadium at the Fairgrounds in Pomona, which is 50 kilometers east of LA. BCCI announced India's away schedule for the Bangladesh series. The two sides will play 3 one-day internationals and 3 T20Is in August. It will start on the 17th with the first ODI and will conclude with the final T20 taking place at the end of that month on 31st. The T20 international series will be the first time Bangladesh will host India in a bilateral at home. Over in women's cricket, Australia's Georgia Wall has been crowned ICC Women's Player of the Month for March. Wall was awarded for her performance during the New Zealand series. The batter scored 161 runs in the 3 T20 internationals. She pipped compatriot Annabelle Sutherland and USA's Chetna Prasad to win her maiden accolade. If unpredictability ever was a theme, then it would be this season of the Indian Premier League. What Punjab did last night has to rank up there when it comes to the most unbelievable victories. Wins that was never there. Think about it, it has been that kind of a league as well this year. A team that almost always have been wooden spooners played like a side that just did not give up. That made the impossible possible. And there is that undercurrent of take that, because Shreyas Iyer captained these very opponents, Kolkata Knight Riders, last year. He and coach Gautam Gambhir took Kolkata to an epic IPL title win in 2024. Now it's tough to part ways, especially after that kind of a season, but Shreyas and Kolkata did. The monies did not add up, and here we are. Shreyas captaining Punjab against Kolkata in a battle of Bollywood stars, Shah Rukh Khan versus Preeti Zinta. And true to the ownership, it was an entertaining script that played out on the field last night. Sure, Kolkata held all the cards. You have to back yourself all the way after you've managed to bundle out your opposition in front of their home crowd for 100-odd runs. There is no coming back from there. Kolkata would have been all smiles, patting each other's on the back after that performance, thinking this game is done. 2 points are in the bag. What's next? Even losing a couple of wickets there wouldn't have set off any alarm bells, really. The target is measly. There is no way a team with that pedigree and a bunch of big hitters as well down the order can really muff this one up. And then that ridiculous leg before wicket that captain Ajinkya Rahane did not appeal against. And you think just 50 more runs, because that's when his wicket went. Why bother so much over this one wicket? Ajinkya Rahane clearly had many other things to worry and bent over than this moment by the end of what was a horror show by the defending champions, something they never saw coming.
The wicket was very good. It was comparatively easy to chase at 112 on this wicket. I think we played bad cricket as a batting unit. It's all about having that game awareness as a batter and then take the game forward. That's what I thought we lacked today. I take this responsibility as a captain that we couldn't chase this down.
Well, it's good on Ajinkya Rahane and of course his experience and maturity to take up all the blame. But saying no game awareness there was putting it rather mildly. Think about brain freeze and multiply it many more times. The batting display was appalling and every single batter knew it. Knowing Rahane and the kind of leader that he is, this loss would surely have hit him hard. You talk about national duty and that being so much more crucial than league cricket. It's sport at the end of the day, and that defeat ought to have hurt the entire bunch a whole lot. But before we get to that, let's look at how the meme factory exploded last night. Yes, memes came upon, and of course I loved this one. This was of course from the Abhishek Sharma match where he scored that 100, and it was a huge game for him because he had finally come into form, and he said, "This is for you, Orange Army." But this is for Shreyas. Shreyas saying, "This is fun," is for you, KKR management, of course. That being a sign again, those Shreyas Iyer memes of a winning captain then going out and getting it against his own previous side, really ruling a lot of those memes. And of course, this one had to have Shah Rukh in there. Please come back, Gambhir. Yeah, they need him more than anything at this point. Don't Kolkata. And of course, Yuzvendra Chahal, quite clearly the hero of the moment. What a milestone achievement for him, and a moment for him too. After all those personal and professional setbacks that he's had over the last few months, this would definitely have been sweet. And yes, Preeti Zinta as well, fighting with Shreyas Iyer for more of those spot. Was quite a picture of that in that first innings, but clearly it just the way she celebrated, I think you'd understand her relief and her sense of shock as well. I wouldn't be surprised with that either. And yes, this one too, Shreyas Iyer, very Jose Mourinho like, silencing the entire Kolkata contingent there, the squad, after this particular defense. And in fact, it was the lowest total that they ended up defending too. So yes, it is quite something. But the Punjabi boys and girls are still partying. It's a long celebration. There's merriment in the air, and two men whom some of the success of course goes to are the ones helming the affairs here this year, Coach Ponting and Captain Shreyas Iyer.
Wins like this are always the sweetest ones. If we can pull this off, then this would be as good as a win most guys have probably been involved in. I've coached a lot of games in the IPL, and that might just be about the best win that I've ever had.
And that's saying something, because Ricky Ponting has seen enough cricket over the years for him to say that this was the best win he's ever witnessed. It's got to be special. Shreyas as captain is a complete picture. Someone the BCCI just cannot ignore as a candidate for captaining one of the formats for India. Who knows? But here's the thing though about this match. Shreyas and company would have still gone back to the board contemplative, but not as dejected had they lost the game. Had, say, Russell and Rinku Singh seen their Kolkata side through to the finish line, because Punjab would have gone back to their hotel rooms thinking, we messed up, yes, but we at least fought hard and made our opposition work that much more for this win. Kolkata, though, will struggle to come out of this one loss, because it was a game they had no business losing, and it is these 2 points that just might haunt them as the tournament progresses. Two subcontinent cricket leagues are in combat, one of the biggest T20 tournaments in the world, the Indian Premier League or the IPL and the Pakistan Super League PSL. The conflicting schedule has sparked a new debate of which of the two leagues is better. Now, while there certainly is no comparison, statements from Pakistan's cricketing fraternity initiated an otherwise illogical debate. The bubble, in fact, was busted when a player who has been part of both the leagues, in fact, and is currently competing in the Pakistan Super League gave a hard-hitting reply to the PSL versus IPL comparison. English batter Sam Billings, who's currently playing for the Lahore Qalandars, picked which side he was on when a journalist, Pakistan journalist, posed this question to him.
You want me to say something silly, don't you? It is hard to look past the IPL as the premier competition. That is obvious, and every other competition is just behind. In England, we doing the same as PSL to be the second best in the world.
The question was, which is the better league out of the two? Billings couldn't have put it in better words. All the leagues are trying to be the second best in the world, and IPL is miles ahead. And there is no harm in accepting it. On one end, there is a league which has been the trendsetter, started as long back as a trailblazer in 2008, getting cricket boards across the world to get their players in a world-class event from the get-go. And on the other are leagues who have tried to recreate that same charm, the same sort of atmosphere and tournament. And this includes some of the top cricketing nations: Australia's Big Bash League, England's T20 Blast, South Africa's SA-T20. The impact of IPL is such that many leagues in the world have Indian-owned franchises, be it in the Caribbean islands, South Africa, America, even Dubai. That has been the kind of impact of a property like the IPL worldwide. These franchises are also making leagues across the globe just as popular. Plus, the quality of cricket is top-notch here. There are 10 franchises fiercely competing with each other every season. PSL, on the other hand, just has 6. Just last night, Punjab defended a total as low as 112, bundling out Kolkata for under 100. This is at a time when most of the T20 leagues have set a pattern of big 200-plus scores. Not saying IPL hasn't seen any of that. We've seen some high-scoring games too, especially last year. But even they became very competitive. For every Hyderabad onslaught, there was a response from the other side too. In IPL, there's variety, and every contest is exciting no matter the scores. PSL, on the other hand, has mostly been one-sided. The league has seen teams batting first, posting 200-plus in the first innings, in reply that has been met with low scores in the second. Teams have crumbled with less than 150 on the board on 5 occasions out of the 6 games that have been played so far. And this, after Pakistan's Hassan Ali made tall claims that if PSL plays entertaining cricket through the season, then they will be able to lure the IPL audiences. But clearly that ain't happening. Pakistan's cricket surfaces have long been flat decks, a batting paradise. Sure, good for the batters, but not for an even contest between bat and ball. Something we saw during the Champions Trophy as well. It was the Dubai leg, in fact, that really proved that even low-scoring matches could produce exciting cricket. Reasons why one of the Pakistan's premier pacers, Mohammad Amir, said he would rather play in the IPL than the PSL.
Honestly, if I get the opportunity, I'll definitely play in the IPL. I'm saying this openly, but if I don't get a chance, then I will play in the PSL.
So if a player who's worn the Pakistan jersey proudly in the past is picking IPL over his own PSL, Pakistan Super League, what stops the rest of the world from doing so? One of the reasons why South Africa's Corbin Bosch, who was picked up by PSL, opted to be a reserve in the IPL rather than playing in Pakistan's domestic league, Bosch initially went unsold in the IPL, which is why he was picked up by Peshawar Zalmi. But when Mumbai picked him as a replacement for an injured player, he gave up his PSL contract to be a part of the Mumbai franchise, despite knowing he will be banned from PSL for a contract breach. What eventually happened? But he was ready to take that risk to be a part of the best cricket league in the world. And Pakistan too have given enough reasons to undermine their own league. Karachi Kings' James Vince scored 100 to help his side chase a target of 235 against Multan Sultans. And for that effort, he won the Most Reliable Player of the Match award in Karachi Kings' dressing room. And the prize he got was a hairdryer. The internet, of course, didn't let the franchise live that down. It is instances like these that show the difference between how leagues across the world function, from quality to money invested and the spectacle of the sport itself. To PSL, IPL is definitely a far better and bigger brand than the PSL or any league for that matter. Maybe Pakistan needed someone to put up a mirror, not to dry their hair out, but to show the wide gap that exists between the two leagues when it comes to various aspects that contribute to a tournament's success. And Sam Billings' statement may have done just that. Formula One this season is changing the dynamics of the sport. Those who dominated in the past, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, are on the back foot. And it's a former conqueror, McLaren, with fairly new faces in Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, who seem to be controlling the steering wheel currently. But the rev and thrill of this high-speed motorsport will only get louder from here on, because Formula One could face the biggest fallout in 75 years of its history. And it concerns Red Bull and Max Verstappen. 4 out of the 24 races have been completed. The 5th will take place over the weekend, and it's McLaren that's ticking all the boxes. They are top of the constructors' standings. Lando Norris is number 1 in the drivers' standings and his teammate a close second. Mercedes too are showing some fight, with George Russell leading the charge for them. Ferrari are still building a new team with the focus on Lewis Hamilton and familiar Charles Leclerc. But the biggest chaos surrounds defending drivers' champion Max Verstappen and his Red Bull team. Verstappen is 8 points behind Norris, and Red Bull is lagging by 80 in the team standings. In his 4 races, the driver has finished on the podium twice. That includes his Japanese Grand Prix win earlier this month. Still, a decent start, isn't it? But not if you are Max Verstappen, who's used to starting a season strong. And it comes as no surprise. He's won 4 consecutive drivers' titles. Things aren't expected to go upwards for a driver of his caliber, and that's what you think. And the 7th placed finish at the Bahrain Grand Prix last weekend didn't make it any easy. So despite the season being in its early stages, there are murmurs of Verstappen being unhappy to an extent that Red Bull is concerned over the driver leaving the team.
With such a performance, it won't be anything to do with the World Championship. The concern is great. We have to create a basis with a car so that he can fight for the World Championship.
And this, coming from Marco, suggests that these aren't just wayward offhand concerns or remarks, because the Red Bull advisor is probably the closest to Verstappen in that team. Marco's statement comes after the team held a crisis meeting following the Bahrain blow-up, a race where Verstappen was left fuming over the car and some of the decisions made by Red Bull.
The pace was very bad. Our tires are just overheating, so when I'm braking there is no feeling. Basically everything went wrong that could go wrong.
And while Red Bull team principal Christian Horner did acknowledge the issues, he went ahead to say that the solutions won't come overnight.
This race has exposed some pitfalls that are obviously very clear that we need to get on top of very quickly. We understand where the issues are. It's introducing the solutions that obviously take a little more time.
You couldn't miss the irony in Horner's statement there. This is the same team that expects immediate results from their drivers. But when it comes to delivering the same themselves, they want a little more time. Just 2 races ago, Liam Lawson, who was promoted from RB to Red Bull, was sacked. He was replaced by Yuki Tsunoda. Reason? The driver failed to grab a single point, but just 2 races. They didn't even wait for a good stretch before dumping him. And Verstappen wasn't happy about this either. So how is Horner and Red Bull expecting the driver now to show loyalty when the team itself isn't keeping their end of the deal? And this despite Horner knowing that Verstappen isn't quite happy with the Red Bull management season, especially since the last time it happened, especially since the last year. The Christian Horner saga, where he was accused of inappropriate behavior, had divided Red Bull, especially when Horner was let off first by his own team internally and then, of course, Formula One. The only reason why Verstappen stayed on was because of what Red Bull was giving him, a challenging car, a setup that has been crucial in his championship journeys. But if that part is also falling apart, will he be willing to stay on? Former driver Ralf Schumacher feels that the writing is already on the wall.
I think the fish is cleaned. Unless there is suddenly a car in Imola that suddenly competes for victories. It is logical that he wants to compete for victories. He has the opportunity to choose the best car in the paddock, and Red Bull obviously isn't.
Sure, Verstappen is contracted till 2028 with Red Bull, but it also includes a performance clause, details of which Red Bull didn't share last season. But maybe that could trigger his move out of the team, and especially at a time when Mercedes and Aston Martin have shown keen interest in the driver. Mercedes have had a decent start to the season as well. Sure, the feud with George Russell last year might be a turn-off for the Dutch driver, but between his friction with Russell and the anger he has been carrying in him for Horner and Red Bull, maybe the four-time world champion could pick the former. Red Bull needs some rejig, and they need it now, because at stake is Verstappen leaving, or maybe they will pay the price for their own template. A tit-for-tat for the loyalty they show towards their drivers, all building up to a volatile Red Bull drama once again this year. It's time for Last Serve. The climbing record of a mountain range in Switzerland was shattered by a local and his Austrian partner. The duo broke the previous best of a 25-hour climb by finishing the ascent in just over 15 hours. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care and bye-bye.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
No, I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India. What we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%. Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.